guys, my name is Ryan Potter, and you guys are watching Book Of, and this is an interview. Stick around. Who is Ryan Potter? That's a wow. Where do we start? Ultimately, I would not be sitting in this chair if it wasn't for, I guess, my background, the genetic makeup of my parents, my martial arts history, my immigrant story, kind of. My life has been quite interesting up until this point. I trying to find the right words and like trying to explain who I am is becoming increasingly more difficult because I'm finding that there are more and more responsibilities that I have to take on as who I am, because of where I come from and because of the people that I'm supposed to represent. And yeah, who is Ryan Potter? I mean, if you heard the name Ryan Potter, I expect a 6 foot tall, blonde hair, blue eyed, corn-fed kid from Wisconsin. But yeah, I feel like when casting directors hear that name and see me show up, it's like doesn't quite fit. I have other names like my middle name and my uninherited, I guess, last name that are Japanese, and I kind of keep those to myself. But yeah, up until this point, it's been primarily my martial arts that has got me into acting, because that is the job that I do. I am a voice actor, and yeah, that's Ryan Potter as up until right now. I started with White Tiger Kung Fu. That was the first martial arts that I ever did. Did that for about 12 years, and then I practiced Kyokushin Karate for about a year. I didn't quite like the system of how rigid it was. I did Capoeira for about a year. That was a lot of fun. And ultimately, as of late, I've been training at a gym called Joining All Movement, and essentially, it's like every walk of life trains there. Every different style trains there. There are b-boys. There are parkour runners. There are stuntmen, traditional martial artists, and yeah, I've just been in that martial arts community, training and trying to get better. I still don't have like a guideline for when people are like, oh, so like how did you do it, or like how would we do it, or what's the way you break in, and honestly I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But every opportunity that I've had has always come in a very roundabout way, and it's never been very straightforward. I don't just go to an audition and audition a few times and I get it. And I was in Japan. I was out in Japan for my birthday last year, and I was there primarily to just kind of get away from everything and get away from the emails and the texts and America too. I wasn't very happy with the state of America at that time, and while I was in Japan, my agents had gotten this audition for Beast Boy, and they had wanted me to audition a few times actually, twice prior for me leaving to Japan, and once I was there, they had wanted me to tape, but I had no one to read these sides with, and to film this audition on a tape, just because there were no English speakers around, and I kind of put it off until the last possible day. And I get a FaceTime call from my agent, and my agent is wondering what I'm up to and where I'm at, and I was like, look, there's no way it's happening. I don't have anybody to read with. And she had set up a Skype call at 9 a.m. the next day, and I was talking with them at 3 a.m., 6 hours prior. So I rushed back to my hotel room, set up Skype, wrote down all my sides onto hotel note cards, and Skyped in with Greg Walker, Greg Berlanti, the whole production side of our show, and yeah, I mean that was it. Greg Walker had complimented me, and I flew back to LA and I tested for it, and I ended up booking it the week later. it's it's bizarre to me. You know, you're expecting to go to an audition in Santa Monica to book something, or to Studio City to book something. I never thought I'd book a role like this from a Skype call in Japan. Yeah, that's kind of how that came about. Yeah, I've always loved visual storytelling. My love for visual storytelling came from kind of the manga anime background that I grew up with. So I didn't grow up with like American comic books per se, but I grew up with Japanese equivalent, which is manga. Grew up reading weekly and Shonen Jump, and standalone titles. I grew up reading One Piece and Toriko and Full Metal Alchemist, and it was the only way that I could kind of stay in touch with, I guess, the pop culture elements of my roots back home, because anime hadn't made it to the States yet when I moved here, and I'd have to go to Japan, buy a bunch of physical copies, and bring them back with me to the States. And so I like comic books in a certain sense. Yeah. We both like to eat a lot of food. I don't know. I mean, I think I try and approach every situation with love and optimism and hope, and all those attributes that people strive for. And I don't think we can maintain that and do that every day, every minute, every hour of the day. But that mentality of attempting to try is something that I share with Gar. Yeah. I kind of knew from the get-go that it wouldn't be an easy job, just because of how much of a built-in fan base there already is. But I also had faith in my ability to portray him, simply because I grew up sitting on my couch every Saturday and Sunday watching Teen Titans, and watching Beast Boy. So I did grow up with the character to a certain degree. I didn't grow up with him in the comic book sense, but I grew up with him in the animation sense. And once I started auditioning for this, I went out, purchased all the comic books that Beast Boy was in, and ended up just kind of speed reading through all of them. See, it's tricky because the season finale, we had shot so much content for the season finale that I'm not entirely sure what's going to make it into the season finale. But we might see Garfield turn into some sort of aquatic animal. And I think that's the first time disclosing that. Yeah. I can't say which animal because that's too much of a giveaway. But yeah, he will turn into an amphibious creature of sorts. Dream role or project? It's tricky because I love the challenge of films that are biopics, where you completely change yourself to become a different historical figure. But as of now, there aren't many biracial Japanese / American historical figures. And some of the only ones I can think of are like Christian Hosoi, and so I don't know. I hope there's a Japanese American that's makes some serious history, so I have the opportunity to play him maybe in the future. Because I'm always playing roles where the gender is ambiguous. Because if you make the character biracial, then there are too many questions that are raised, and you have to cast the parents properly. But I don't know. There's a Japanese title called Akira that Warner Brothers and a couple other studios and writers and producers have tried to get off the ground for the last 20 years, and playing the titular lead role, Kaneda, would definitely be a dream come true. Grew up with the character, I know him inside out. I would be one of those really old dusty books at the top corner of the bookshelf that hasn't been touched in a while, but you open it up and it's like just like the most beautifully painted pages you've ever seen. I'd be that kind of a book. I don't know if that answer made any sense, but if it made sense to you, we'd get along. What's going on, guys? This is supposed to come out the same time as the Titans finale. Please check it out. It'd be very much appreciated. We've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this project. Literally, Toronto was a brilliant place to work in, but not the easiest. We look forward to going back for season 2 and getting more content to you guys as soon as possible. But tune in, tweet me, Instagram me, let me know what you thought.